It's the 25th of June 2017. Welcome to episode 34 of RapBabble, the weekly hip-hop podcast. I've been a bit more intermittent recently, but we're starting off with some really sad news. Prodigy of Mobb Deep died. He died on 20th of June, and it was in Las Vegas. He was hospitalized a couple of days before, and the problems were related to his sickle cell anemia, which everyone's known he's had for a long time. Even Tupac mentioned it in one of his songs. So that's when I first heard of that. And he's always been a bit sick. He's always had to kind of manage it. And it took his toll. He was doing a concert at the time. He was in the Art of Rap tour with Havoc, Ghostface Killer, Onyx, KRS-One and Ice-T. The temperatures are quite hot, both in a concert and in the desert as well. So it's possible that he may not have been looking after himself that day and put himself in a difficult position, but the chances of him dying were always quite high. The life expectancy is 42 to 62. He's just at the beginning of that category, but yeah, he died, so it was really sad. And I haven't had a rapper's death hit me that hard, and I'm not even really a fan of Prodigy that much because I never listened to Mobb Deep much, but I paid a lot of attention to his interviews, and he was with G-Unit for a while and I was a big fan of them. So I had one album, I had a couple of songs from some of his later solo projects as well, and he was really good. He was impressive, and I was more impressed by actually what he's done after his major fame, and when the majority of the Mobb Deep albums were done. Some of the other things he was doing, how he was taking care of his health, how he was going independent, how he was continuing to put music out, and just the way he was talking, it was so positive. He was kind of positive without being too preachy or without he was cool about it, and I respected him a lot. So his words would go a long way when he would say something that I might not accept from other people. And he was a good lyricist as well. I mean, that Shook One's verse, I first heard it when I was going over my hip-hop history in about 2008, so it was a long time after it came out, but I memorized the verse because it was so good, and it worked. 10, 15 years after it first came out, it still worked really well, so that's when you know you've made good music, timeless music. So he will be missed. There was a lot of outpouring of sadness. A lot of rappers came out and were just talking about how much of a legend he is, and I do feel like a legend in hip hop has gone. He was a big figure in 90s hip hop, and he'll sadly be missed. Okay, the next story is the Tupac biopic has come out. It's called All Eyez on Me. It has a budget of 40 million, which is already made back. On the downside, though, it got a Rotten Tomatoes score of 22%. Average rating is 4.5 out of 10. This is Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. This is out of 51 reviews. Ooh, and I went up and looked at the Straight Out of Compton reviews on the same website, and that got 87%. It had an average rating of 7.3 out of 10, and that was out of 210 reviews. So I'd heard that the All Eyez on Me film wasn't great, and I'm hearing more bad things about it. Just in the sense that it's kind of a surface level type film. It doesn't go very deep. And this was bound to happen. You make one hit. Straight Out of Compton was one of those films. It reminds me of Lord of the Rings, where it was so good that you get imitations out as soon as it's finished. Like as soon as what Straight Out of Compton was done, you heard announcements for All Eyez on Me. So this is a victim of that, and it's a shame because I wanted to see that story, and I'm going to go and see it because I'm a big fan of the rapper himself and of hip-hop itself, so I will go and see it for that reason. But it's disappointing that so far the reviews aren't great, and I'll check it out for myself, and I'll let you know when I have seen it. Actually, I can give my own review on the film. I've done album reviews, but I haven't done a film review yet, but I'll do that this time. Okay, the next story is just about album releases. So there's one album release and one announcement. So the album release is DJ Khaled's album, and I haven't really heard much of his. I've heard a lot of his singles. I haven't ever bought an album before, but there was a point where I didn't know who this Khaled guy was, but every time I heard his name before a song, the song was good. I came to associate that name with quality. And so, with this album particularly, I only bring this up now because, one, his public profile is huge now that once he had that Snapchat hit. He started recording videos on Snapchat and just went massive. His views were amazing. He was like the king of Snapchat. Because of his positive, he's almost like a motivational speaker, really. And also he's kind of a bit ridiculous with it, so I think people are equally mesmerized by the guy, and also just think, this guy really, it just, sometimes I don't know what to make of him. He goes really far with his positive comments. He doesn't really say anything of substance, but he is impressive in what he's done. And he is really positive as well. Like, he's had many opportunities to have beefs with rappers and with people, and he just decides to take the more positive route, and he just says good things about everyone. So he's brought out this, and on the back of his new Snapchat fame, he put out the last album, Major Keys, and that did well. He had a Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Drake feature on that, and those were the singles as well. So yeah, once his star rose, he got some big names adding on to his albums. Although Jay-Z actually did do albums before the Snapchat fame, he was still quite big before. And yeah, like what's that song called? It's one with Meek Mill and Rick Ross. They Don't Love You No More. I loved that song. I loved it so much. I had it on my phone. I played it all the time. Got to listen to that song. That has a Jay-Z verse on it. And the main reason I picked this one out, normally I wouldn't, but there was an article on djbooth.net, and they were just saying the features. This is like the most extensive feature list ever, because this is a 23-track album. It's a double disc, and I've got the list now. I had to actually put the list together. It has Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Drake again, so there are 2 songs between them. Then he has Rihanna and Bryson Tiller, Justin Bieber, Quavo, Lil Wayne, Travis Scott, Rick Ross, Big Sean, Nas, Alicia Keys, Nicki Minaj, Chance the Rapper, Jeremiah, Future, Pusha T, Jadakiss, Fat Joe, Raekwon, Kodak Black, Gucci Mane, Rick Ross, Yo Gotti, Migos, 21 Savage, T.I., Young Thug, 2 Chainz, and is executive produced by his infant son, Asad Khaled. So that feature list is extensive. It's amazing. He's got everyone on there. And he also spans the decades as well, because he's got old folks like Nas, for instance, the old guard. So Raekwon's there as well. He's got people from the middle. So you'd have the Jadakisses and the Pusha T's and Rick Ross. I think Jadakiss is in the old guard, actually. Lil Wayne's in the middle as well. And then you got the new guys. You got Migos and Kodak Black and 21 Savage and Young Thug. So he's spanned the generations, and he's got R&B singers in there. Like, he's got a lot in there. He's packed in so much. Anyway, I'm giving this way too much airtime because I don't know, he makes good singles. I don't know about good album tracks, and it's quite hard when it's not unified by one artist or producer or anything like that. But yeah, his album's out. It's called Grateful. The other one I wanted to mention was Jay-Z. He's announced an album, and it's so far it says the name of it is 44-4. And as a Jay-Z fan, I know what that's a reference to. He had a song called 22 Twos, which was 22 lines of song of he'd have 2 lines, but he'd have 22 lines, and so it was a long rap with no chorus. It was a song on Reasonable Doubt, his first album, and then on a later album, which was Kingdom Come, I think it was a bonus track, he had double that. He doubled the 22 twos to 44 fours, and that had a good beginning part and a bad end part, because he changed the beat and I didn't like the second half. But yeah, I didn't count them myself, but he claims he had 44 lines of 4, and it was a good song still. So now he's called the album that. I don't hate the album title. album titles can be hit and miss. I didn't really get Magna Carta Holy Grail. That still doesn't make sense to me. And I like album titles with a meaning as well. And this has some connection to his older work. But yeah, for me, album titles are really important. I really like people to get it right. And I love memorable titles like Hip Hop Is Dead. That's one that really, really had a big impact. So yeah, this one's called 44 Fours. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big Jay-Z fan. I've got everything he did from the Blueprint. And I'm looking forward to this. And there aren't many albums that I actually look forward to getting. So this is one of those. So I'm really looking forward to this. So I just want to say rest in peace to Prodigy. It's sad to see to have him gone. It's weird to look at pictures of him and think that he's not here anymore. Because he was always kind of... For me, he was in the background. You know, I'd see him pop up on interviews and I'd listen to them intently. But now he's just a collection of pictures now. And I wasn't a huge fan of the music. It kind of was all murder, so I wasn't really that interested in listening to the music. But I respect the rapper and the talent as well, which is important. I question whether someone of his talent can make it today. It's a lot harder and it's a lot less common. But he was great. So rest in peace to Prodigy. And I'll see everyone on the next episode. Bye.